But I want to play this clip from my earlier debate with the CEO of Liquid Death. And let me just start by prefacing with, I won $1 million. He's the one who threw that number out there. Let me play the clip for you, and then we'll discuss what happened earlier and what I would like to see happen. One other question I have that says on this can, we donate a portion of the profits from every can sold to help kill plastic pollution. I checked your site. Do you want to explain? I don't know if you're allowed to tell us what portion of the profits actually goes towards fighting plastic pollution.
Well, in the early days of Liquid Death, we had a specific number. We had, it was like 5 cents a can was what we donated in the very early days. As the business, well, actually, the original thing was 5% of the profits we were donating.
Your site in 2021 says 10%.
No, not 10%.
The website Liquid Death Archived 2021 says 10% of all sales per can goes to fighting plastic pollution.
That was never on our site. It's
how much you want to bet?
10%.
You want
it
to bet?
Doesn't say 10%.
How much you want to bet? Gentleman's bet, because I have the archive pulled up.
$1 million.
Are you sure?
I'm ready. I know we never put that on there.
Everyone watching right now can see archive.org. 10% of the profits from every can is donated to help kill plastic pollution. I don't know if you're able to see. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I can't put it on my screen. If you everybody watching can see that it says 10%. Buddy, you owe me $1 million. Hey, you said it.
Tell me where to make the check out.
I don't know, to a plastic fighting charity.
Yeah.
I'm not mad that you're saying 10%. By the way. I don't think it's good.
I could show you detailed legal stuff within there. That is someone who needs to be fired that was running our website, because it's never been on a can. It's never been anywhere else. Like that is.
I'm just going to go ahead and say, I don't believe him. Here's the actual archive from Liquid Death's page. You can see the URL right up here. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to open it and paste it in. And here you can see it links straight to their website, where they did, I will give them this, add that their cans do contain a plastic liner inside of them. This is their website. It literally says 10% of the profits from every can is donated to help kill plastic pollution. I think he's lying. You know, look, I respect the guy for having this conversation and exposing himself in this way. But I think he's lying. I think they intended to do that. I think as the company expanded, they realized 10% is too much to give away. That's my opinion of it. He's saying, no, I can show you all these. Well, I say this. Liquid Death, hear me. You already work with Five Gyres. On their website at the bottom, it says they work with Five Gyres, Science to Solutions. It's a nonprofit. They brought in their last $990 that's available for, I think, 2024, $1.2 million total. Certainly seems like, in my opinion, that Liquid Death actually doesn't give them that much money, but you know, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, I don't know how much money they're actually generating in profit because he doesn't disclose that. So I say this, write a check for $1 million, Liquid Death, to Five Gyres, settle the bet. You said it over and over again, Mike, $1 million. You've never put that on your website. You did. You lost the bet. I think it'd be very cool. I think it's a great opportunity for you guys to publicly make a statement that you lost the bet, but you're putting your money where your mouth is to fight plastic pollution with $1 million check. Hey, guys, you can write it off. And I'm going to say this. The beef that I had in this debate was that Liquid Death says death to plastic on it, but every can has... Now, when I search this, it's 0.5 to 1 gram of plastic lining the can, which there are concerns it's leaching into your drink. That's my concern. It's just non-recyclable plastic. Not to mention, he says the cans are infinitely recyclable, but the can literally says on it, it contains 70%, average aluminum can contains 70% recycled material. So that's not infinitely recyclable, that's 70% recyclable. I think Liquid Death plays this game of we're anti-plastic while actually just adding to single-use plastic consumption. He says they got rid of the death dust packets. These were drink mixes they had lined in plastic. He said they got rid of them. But they produce soft drink cans that can for with any other company produces the same amount of plastic. He then says when we recycle it, we burn it off. Yes, plastic in the can is burned off in the recycling process, which converts it to carbon dioxide, water vapor, and small amounts of plastic particulates, which are absorbed into a filter. That filter has to be then disposed of in a similar way. It's still creating pollution. Granted, I'll give it to them, they're much better than PET plastic bottles. However, if they really wanted to play the game of fighting plastic, they could be like Topo Chico or Mineragua, who do not actually claim death to plastic. But the caps, single-use metal pop caps, contain 0.05 grams of plastic in the liner to keep it sealed. Substantially less plastic than Liquid Death. I think they're dishonest. I think that they're doing an environmental play because it works among lefties. That's why they do the witches cursing the drink. They're targeting the left in these libs. And they're claiming death to plastic, while in fact they're just producing more plastic. There's no evidence to suggest that Liquid Death has displaced any amount of plastic bottles in the market. And if they really wanted to, like I said, Topo Chico is cheaper at Walmart than Liquid Death. Tell me how that is. I honestly have no idea. But he put this big thing on Twitter saying if I wanted to sell pool water, which we are actually working on right now, and I have some updates for you for all those that are curious about our castbrew.com pool water. So it looks like we probably are going to increase the price from $20 up for a few reasons. We want to put them in cardboard boxes, and we want to use paper stickers, and those are more expensive. The initial cost that we were looking at to get 8 cents profit per bottle would have been shrink wrapped in plastic. And we thought about it. We were like, I'm not playing this anti-plastic game like there, so I didn't care. But then we went to the price. We were like, we could do cardboard boxes, make it look a lot cooler. That means it's going to be closer to like $30 a pack, which is just a reality. I will give him that when he said, Mike argued on X, we'd have to sell these 24 packs for $83, which is just another insane lie. And there are people tweeting at me being like, take advice from the CEO of a drink company, Tim. I went to Walmart and Topo Chico is $12 for a 12 pack. It's $1 a bottle. What are you talking about? I can buy glass bottles with no plastic in the cap for $1 a piece.
I think the Topo Chicos, they have rubber. They have like plastic underneath the pop caps, and it's about the It's not about the amount of plastic touching the liquid. It's about the scratches that the plastic takes.
No, the issue is
before production.
They're producing plastic pollution that they burn and say it's better than plastic bottles.
Well, it's not, there's the argument of who's making more plastic waste, and there's the argument of who's getting more microplastic into their stomach when they drink the liquid.
And there's one French study suggesting that twist caps can put more microplastics in your drinking water. Pop caps, we don't have a study on. And I'd argue at 0.05 grams of plastic, the likelihood you're getting more microplastics in your glass bottled water compared to a literal plastic-lined can with plastic every dimension is laughably absurd.
The upside of those is they don't get the sunlight, because sunlight will leach your plastic into your liquid. So you want to be careful, but the metal can will block the radiation from the sun. Or something.
I get it. Plastic water bottles suck. It is 0.8 cents per fluid ounce for a plastic water bottle when you buy that trash. It's insanely cheap.
Where's the water coming from?
A variety of sources. So spring water imported from like the Swiss Alps or Iceland is going to be very expensive. It's going to be, I think, upwards of like 20 cents per ounce, even as high as 50 cents, depending on the source of water. If you're doing American-sourced artesian water or reverse osmosis, like Dasani, for instance, Dasani is municipal tap water. Not a joke. And they make a ton of money. So I'll give it to him. Plastic water bottles are bad. The issue is that Liquid Death is not a water company. Even Mike said it's 15% of their business at this point. They are a soft drink company, no different from Coke or any other drink producer in a can. And can for can, they produce the exact same amount of plastic. He said he committed to changing the cans because it says death to plastic on every can. He's going to put death to plastic bottles.
Okay.
Sure, fine.
It's a real misleading marketing ploy for Liquid Death to talk bad about plastic and have your
let me tell you this. The hammer drop from the interview that I did, I feel a little bad about this because Liquid Death is growing. They're getting big. And I'm not trying to rag on these guys who are trying to push back against the monopolies of Coke and Pepsi. I feel kind of bad about it. Coke and Pepsi own everything, and they lock people out.
They have plastic in their cans, too.
Absolutely. Every can does. Now, here's the issue with Liquid Death. Homie straight up admitted to an FTC violation on a live stream on my channel with 1.5 million people. And I started laughing, and I said, bro, did you talk to your lawyer before planning this? Because that's a pretty wild thing. Here's what happened. He said death to plastic is just a slogan. It's not a claim. There are a bunch of companies that have slogans. And then he said, like Red Bull gives you wings. I then laughed and said, it's funny you bring that up because, as you know, the FTC, I believe it was the FTC, fined Red Bull for the claim Red Bull gives you wings. I think it was like $13 or $14 million, to which he incorrectly responded, yeah, but that's ridiculous. Who actually believed that Red Bull was going to make you grow wings, which was never why they got fined. They were fined under the FTC because the argument was Red Bull gives you wings implies that Red Bull will enhance your physical or mental performance more than a caffeinated soda, which it will not, because Red Bull is effectively just the same as any other caffeinated soda. So many people think Red Bull's an energy drink. It's just caffeinated soda. Coca-Cola has caffeine in it as well. Red Bull, I believe, has more. But if you look at like Monster and other energy drinks that have, ginseng, guarana, B vitamins, and other things, those are energy drinks. He then said several times that he surveyed his customers and found the overwhelming majority were not buying them because it was plastic free. They were doing it, I think he said it was because it was an alternative to plastic bottles. He then admitted some of our customers we found were buying this because they thought it was free from plastic, but it was a minority, to which is shocking to me because he outright said, the slogan we use, Death to Plastic, misled a portion of our customer base into buying our product. We've known this for years and we've never changed it. That's what he said publicly and live. I addressed this. I additionally said the controversy surrounding plastic bags inside of this, because you can look it up, has been around for years and they never changed their marketing. They knew that it misled a certain portion of their customer base. They knew there was a controversy surrounding this. They didn't change it until I, with millions of followers, called them out, and there was a backlash on social media.
Oh, is that how you got the interview? Is that why you got the interview? I was wondering how the interview came about.
So the other thing, the reason this came out is because a long time ago I bought Liquid Death. I didn't know aluminum cans had plastic in them. I thought it was just straight up metal. And I bought it because we wanted to have here for our guests a plastic alternative to our drinking water. We have plastic water bottles. I don't care. And we also had Saratoga Springs at the time. We now have reusable glass water bottles that are downstairs, and they have silicone seals on them. When I found out they said plastic, my brother told me, I spent thousands of dollars. I was kind of peeved because I'm like, it says Death to Plastic on it. I didn't know. My brother actually used caustic soda to melt the metal off, and you can see the bag dangling. And you can look this up on YouTube. Everybody does it. So I got pissed. And the thing is, Richie Jackson, who is a friend of ours and is sponsored by the Boonies, rode for them. He was sponsored by them. And so I said, one thing, there's a conflict of interest between us because of our mutual colleague. I'm not going to say anything. I did, however, call out the general concept without naming Liquid Death, which I didn't want to cause problems for, we have a mutual colleague. So I decided, however, he recently, Liquid Death fired all of their skateboarders, who, by the way, were getting paid like $500 a month, not even that much money, and had been with them since the beginning, since the inception of this company. He fired them all. And Richie put out a video saying, I'm no longer associated with Liquid Death. They lost a customer. And so I said, hey, I don't got to be polite to these people anymore. Made a post about it, said it's misleading, it's deceptive marketing practices. I think I respect him for coming on because, and I do mean this, very few big company CEOs would dare address the public like this. He was decently honest in a lot of regards where he said, we've updated our website, we're going to update the marketing. But I think he's just now caught. They're not a water company anymore. They do soft drinks. They do sodas. I respect the drink. It's a low sugar drink. That's what I'm all about. But the marketing was a trick. And so the final thing I'll say on this before we go to your Rumble rants, the last bit of the conversation we had was around the termination of his skateboard team. And he said they spend around $40,000 per year sponsoring a handful of skateboarders who get a couple $100 a month. So I would argue logically he is correct. As a business, you can't just sponsor people without seeing a return. Businesses don't just give money away. Fair point. Spiritually, he's wrong. What I want to add to this that I didn't say at the time, but I'll say now, this is a company valued at $1.4 billion, brought in a ton of investment. He says they're not yet profitable, and that means they're putting the money back into expansion of the business. So they could be profitable if they want to grow and they want to distribute more. That's my assumption. $330 million in sales. They don't get all of that because that's retail sales. So based on what he said they have 40% margins. Retail's about $1 per can. And he said that retailers want 50% margins. Distributors want around a 30% margin. So we can actually do simple math in that regard. And then he says we have a 40% margin. So this means the retailers are getting these for about 50 cents a can because they want a 50% margin, which means by the time the distributor is giving it out, they're selling it to Walmart for 50 cents. So if they want 30% of 50, that's 15 cents. Which means he's likely selling them for 35 cents to the distributors, which means if he has a 40% margin, it's around 20 or so cents that he's his cost per can. So we can do all of that math. Then you can take a look at, I think he said it's 175 million cans. You can do the math on how much money they're making every year as a company. So it's in the tens of millions of dollars. Spiritually, you have a handful of pro skateboarders. It is the lowest point in skateboarding ever. Skateboarders are struggling to get by. They're working at Amazon, and it's $500 a month. And these guys were with the company since the company started. And he said, well, companies don't have an obligation to just pay these people forever, so you're all fired. And I'll give him this, logically fine by all means, but there's something just genuinely spiritually awful about saying the skate industry could not be in a worse position. All pro skateboarders are hurting. We're going to throw another log on this fire that is the skateboard industry and pull a couple $100 from you per month. But what I'm going to add to this is that what he said, and I'm paraphrasing, but he effectively said I'm paraphrasing. He said the skateboarders all basically said nice things. Richie was the only one who said something disparaging on the way out. And he said something like, I understand this hurt him pretty bad because because he lost a couple $100 per month when he doesn't have that many sponsors left as it is, or something like this. And when he said that, it was really funny to me because I was like, wow. Like, he literally spat in Richie's face. To Richie, pro skateboarder, he has a skate video with more views than any other skate video in history.
Richie's the man.
Well, to be fair, Nigel Houston may have just surpassed him, but it's comparable. So he has rivaling for like 10 years the most viewed skate video in history. And he said, I know it was particularly hard for him to lose a couple $100 a month because he doesn't have that many sponsors.
Is that
left.
what he said?
Yes.
Wow.
And I'm
Just
like,
classless.
Yeah.
Absolutely classless, because I can tell you this, Richie Jackson is not hurting for the $500 in any way. I'm not pretending like Richie's a wealthy man, but he is certainly he's of stable income, and he's doing fine. So to imply that taking the $500 away from him is what pissed him off, it was just insult to injury. The reality is, Richie was upset because he was with Liquid Death from the start. Every time we do videos, Richie always tries to make sure Liquid Death is seen on camera in some way because they sponsor him, and that's his job. And I respect it because they only gave him a couple $100 a month. But Richie loved the brand. He made a Simpsons video on his Instagram, like where he did the voices about buying Liquid Death. It was the Cracker Factory joke, and then he just revoiced it. Do shingle people drink Liquid Death? We don't know. Quite frankly, we don't want to know. And then what happens is, abruptly, without warning, a new guy at the company he's never heard of sends him a message saying, you're off the team, the team's disbanded. And so Richie felt like he was betrayed by a company he'd been with from the beginning for $500. That's it. So this company was spending like $3,700 a month to keep the OGs receiving some cash to sponsor the brand. And homie didn't care.
Yeah.
So I think it's nasty. I can respect Liquid Death is better than plastic bottles, but let's just point this out. There are many companies that only sell in cans. They don't sell plastic bottles. They don't claim they're trying to destroy plastic bottles either, and don't market it like they're some environmentally sound company. They just say it's a drink in a can. Liquid Death is literally no different from Celsius or Mountain Dew or whatever. Granted, to be fair, I find Mountain Dew is going to be in a plastic bottle as well. They are producing cans lined in plastic while pretending they're anti-plastic. I think it's despicable.
Well, listen, I mean, it pisses me off because, and I've always had issues with the brand. My understanding is there's rumors that they were saying they were having it cursed or something like that. I think you mentioned that earlier.
They have a commercial, I guess, where they curse the water.
That's horrifying. I very much dislike that. I think that's horrible. And with the comment about Richie, I mean, if this guy truly believed that Richie had nothing left and needed this money, the idea that you would kick him while he was down by making a shitty comment like that it's just totally classless. Totally classless.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.